the heart of the vast, sun-scorched African savanna, a place where only the strong survive, a tiny, frail lion cub was born. His pride was famous for its power, its dominance echoing across the plains. But this cub was different. While his brothers and sisters were born with strength in their bones and fire in their eyes, he was small, quiet and uncertain. His paws were so soft they barely whispered on the dry earth. The unwritten law of the wild is simple: strength means life, weakness means death. The pride, from the majestic alpha male to the fierce lionesses, saw his vulnerability. They doubted he would last even a few months. In the shadows, predators watched, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The savanna itself was a harsh judge, offering blistering days and freezing nights to all. But only the resilient would see another sunrise. Yet, this cub's story was just beginning. Deep within him, a hidden spark of defiance glowed, a powerful will to live that would challenge the very laws of nature. The first few weeks were a relentless struggle. As his siblings learned to stalk and pounce, their playful tumbles building deadly skills, he would often fall behind. His legs were too weak, his small body too fragile for their games. Hunger was a constant, sharp pain in his belly, and sickness visited him more often than the others. The pride's attention, naturally, went to the strong and promising cubs. He felt the sting of being overlooked, not from cruelty, but from the cold, hard logic of survival. But in the quiet moments of being left behind, something powerful began to stir. He decided he would not be defined by his weakness. He became a silent observer, his mind a sponge soaking up every detail of the world around him. He watched his mother and the other lionesses, admiring their patient, strategic teamwork during hunts. He studied the subtle flicks of an ear, the low growls, the silent language that held the pride together. Though his body was weak, his mind was becoming incredibly sharp. He realized he didn't need to match their brute force. He could win with intelligence. He started to practice in secret. While the others relied on strength, he mastered stealth. He learned to use the tall grasses and shadows, becoming nearly invisible. He stalked insects and small lizards not for food but for practice, honing his reflexes and learning the art of absolute patience. When the pride made a kill and the feast was a chaotic scramble of muscle and might, he didn't fight for a place at the center. Instead, he learned to predict where a scrap of meat might be flung, or he would cleverly wait until the larger lions were full and distracted. He found his own way to survive, using his mind where his muscles failed. This unconventional approach didn't just set him apart, it saved his life time and time again. He was developing a different kind of strength, one that was forged in quiet observation and cunning. He was learning to outthink the world that was trying to crush him. Time moved on, and with it came relentless tests. Predators circled, rival prides challenged their territory, and long, dry seasons made every day a battle for food and water. Each threat was a new lesson. He faced them not with a roar of power, but with quick thinking and adaptability. The very frailty that was once seen as his curse was slowly becoming his greatest teacher, instilling in him a humility and patience that his stronger siblings lacked. He learned to read the wind, to smell water from miles away, to understand the habits of smaller, quicker prey that the rest of the pride ignored. And slowly, the pride began to notice. The looks of doubt were replaced by a quiet, grudging respect. This was the cub who should have been gone. Yet he was still here, surviving against all odds. He wasn't just surviving, he was adapting in ways they had never seen before. The turning point, the moment his legend truly began, arrived with a devastating drought. The sun baked the earth into a cracked, barren wasteland. The great herds moved on, and the pride was pushed to the brink of starvation. The usual hunting grounds were empty, and the waterholes turned to dust. Young cubs, even the strong ones, began to weaken and perish. But the once weak cub, now a young adolescent, thrived. He used his hard-won knowledge to find hidden springs the others had overlooked. He led them to small pockets of life in the parched landscape, hunting agile prey that required strategy, not just strength. His mind, sharpened by years of observation, was now the pride's most valuable asset. The lions who had once ignored him now followed his lead, their powerful bodies dependent on his clever mind. His status was sealed one fateful evening. A pack of hyenas, emboldened by the pride's weakness, had cornered a young lioness, separating her from the group. A direct confrontation would have been disastrous for the weakened lions. But our young hero didn't hesitate. He didn't charge in with a roar. Instead, he used his mastery of stealth and diversion. He created a distraction, drawing the hyena's attention with a series of clever calls and movements, leading the confused pack on a wild chase away from the trapped lioness. It was a breathtaking display of courage and intelligence. He saved her life not with brute force, but with a brilliant strategy. From that day on, he was no longer the weak cub. He was a hero. The pride looked at him with a new kind of reverence, a respect that went deeper than just acknowledging physical power. As he grew into adulthood, his body finally caught up. The constant struggle had forged lean, powerful muscles onto his frame. He was strong, but his true power was never just physical. It was in his eyes, wise, calm, and perceptive. It was in his spirit unyielding and resilient. The cub who started with nothing had become a leader, but a different kind of leader. He led not through intimidation, but through wisdom and ingenuity. He taught the pride that a coordinated plan was more effective than a reckless charge, that patience could outlast power, and that even the smallest member could hold the key to survival. The other lions, raised on the ideal of brute strength, learned from him that true dominance came from a balance of might and mind. The legend of the weak cub who became a wise king spread across the savannah. Animals of all kinds would share his story. It was a tale that defied the natural order, a story of hope that resonated far beyond his own pride. It was a powerful reminder that strength isn't always loud and obvious. It can be quiet, patient, and intelligent. His journey proved that our beginnings do not have to define our endings. The challenges that seem destined to break us can, in fact, be the very things that forge us into something stronger and more resilient than we could ever have imagined. His legacy was not one of conquests and battles won, but of survival against all odds, of a spirit that refused to be broken. It was the triumph of will over circumstance, of heart over hardship. Through his story, the savannah itself seemed to learn a new lesson, that true strength comes in many forms, and that legends are born not just in the deafening roar of power, but in the quiet, unyielding resilience of the spirit. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of courage and resilience.